You have said no thanks to that question 100 times without really thinking about it. The one at the register, right after your card goes in. Do you want to add protection? But you probably never noticed what happened in the 60 seconds before it. The price you already agreed to. The number you had already made peace with, and how small $99 felt sitting right next to it. That was not an accident. The order of those two numbers is the whole trick. And once you can see it, you will catch it at every checkout counter for the rest of your life. And by the end of this, you will also know the one situation where saying yes is genuinely the smart move, because there is one. Start with the part almost nobody knows. That laptop you just bought for $600, the store probably made about $25 on it. Maybe $30 on a good day. Selling electronics is a brutally thin business. The manufacturer sets the price. Every competitor is one tab away on your phone, and the store is basically a very expensive shelf with a parking lot attached. 4 or 5% margin is normal. That is what they keep after the product, the shipping, the shelf, the lights, and the person who scanned it. Now the warranty. When you say yes to $99 of protection, the store can keep 50, 60, sometimes 70% of that. Call it $60. So look at what just happened. The $600 laptop made them $25. The $99 add-on made them $60. The thing you came in for is worth less to the store than the thing you did not know existed until 8 seconds ago. That is not a side hustle. For a lot of retailers, warranties and protection plans are the difference between a profitable quarter and a bad one. Which brings us to why the question always comes at the end, never at the beginning. Nobody walks into a store and asks about protection plans first. You have to be sold the laptop, you have to accept the $600, you have to cross that little mental line where the money feels spent. Only then does the second number show up. And $99 against $600 is only 16%. It feels like a rounding error. It feels like the responsible thing. Here is the name I want you to remember, because you can use it everywhere. Call it the second number. A second number is a price that only looks small because of the price standing next to it. Alone, $99 is a full week of groceries. You would think hard about $99, but parked next to $600, your brain stops measuring it in groceries and starts measuring it in percentages. And percentages are always smaller than they feel. That is the entire mechanism. Nobody lied to you. They just changed what you were comparing it to. Now let us look at what you are actually buying, because that part is stranger than the price. An extended warranty is insurance. That is not a metaphor. It is literally what it is. You pay a small amount now, so somebody else covers a large loss later. And insurance has math you can do on the back of a receipt. Imagine 100 people all buy the same $600 laptop, and all 100 of them say yes to the $99 plan. That is $9,900 collected. Now, how many of those laptops actually break in a way the plan covers? In the window, the plan covers. Not many. For most consumer electronics, you are looking at something like 10%, and a good chunk of those failures happen in the first year, which the manufacturer already covers for free. But be generous. Say 10 of the 100 break and get repaired at an average repair cost of $200. That is $2,000 paid out, $9,900 in, $2,000 out, $7,900 left over. That is the business. And it gets better for them because of a detail nobody mentions at the register. Claims are annoying. There is a phone number, a case number, a shipping box, a deductible, a service window, a form that asks for the original receipt you threw away in March. Every one of those steps quietly removes a few more people from the payout column. A meaningful share of people who paid for coverage never use it, not because nothing broke, but because using it was more hassle than the thing was worth. And plenty of people simply forget they have it. The plan expires unclaimed and unremembered, which is the most profitable outcome of all. And there is one more twist that makes the math even better on their side. With most insurance, the people who buy it are the people most likely to need it. Insurers hate that. But warranties flip it. The people who say yes to a protection plan tend to be careful people, the kind who worry about breaking things, which means they are the kind who do not break things. The person who is going to drop the laptop in a bathtub is usually the person who waived off the warranty in 4 seconds. So the buyer pool is unusually safe, and the payouts are unusually low. Now the part where I have to be fair, because this is where most people go wrong and just decide the store is evil. It is not evil. It is rational, and the reason is that thin margin from earlier. If you run a business that makes $25 on a $600 sale, you are one bad quarter from closing. You have 2 options. Sell more laptops, which means fighting every competitor on earth for pennies, Or sell something attached to the laptop that nobody else can sell at that exact moment, the customer is already spending. Guess which one is easier? In many cases, the store is not even the insurer. A third party underwrites the plan, and the store just takes a commission for asking the question. Which is why the person at the register asks with such a specific flat tone. They are usually tracked on it. There is a number on a screen in a back office with their name next to it. They are not scheming, they are hitting a target. So when should you say yes? Because there is a real answer, and it is not never. Insurance is worth buying when the loss would actually hurt you, and the odds are not tiny. That is the whole rule. Your house burning down would wreck you, so you insure your house, even though it almost never happens. A $400 blender breaking would annoy you, and you would survive it, so you self-insure by simply having $400. Which means the honest test at the register is not, is this thing likely to break? It is, could I replace this tomorrow without it changing my month? If yes, skip it. If no, if this is a $2,000 purchase you saved for and could not repeat, then a protection plan stops being a bad bet and starts being an actual seatbelt. The other real case is anything with a high known failure rate that you carry in your pocket. Phone screens, laptop hinges, anything with a moving part you use 40 times a day. Those break at rates far above 10%, and the repair often costs more than a third of the device. That is where the math finally tips toward you. Everything else is you paying $60 of profit for the feeling of having been responsible. And the feeling is the product that is worth sitting with. You are not really buying a repair. You are buying the removal of a small nagging worry that was installed in your head about 4 seconds earlier by a question you were not expecting. So the next time you are at the counter, card in, half out the door already, and someone asks if you want to add protection, notice what your brain does. It will not weigh $99. It will weigh 99 against 600, and it will shrug. That shrug is the product. That is what the second number is for. Just ask yourself one thing before you answer. If this had been the only price on the screen today, if there were no $600 sitting next to it, would I have walked into this store and paid $99 for this? Usually the answer is no, and now you will hear it every time.